They don't know who started the war, but certainly someone ended it. They approximate that it took no more than 6 months, and they wiped out 90% of the Earth's population. The tiny dust mote orbiting the Sun, a star, a G2V star named Sol, and the majority of a species was extinct. Luckily, there were some people that had the foresight to avoid the catastrophic eventuality of losing an entire species. They were called the Preservation Council, and they took with them 10%, only 10% of an entire species, and they managed to save them from death, from extinction. They saved some of their civilization, and they also saved some of their technology. And as they emerged into a changed world, they realized that maybe the stars is where they need to step next, with near disaster befalling them on their home planet. It became apparent to at least the leading scientists of the time that confining the race to only one planet was potentially a disaster in waiting. There were many leaders in the bunkers, many leaders who managed to get them through the hard times, and who will lead them into a new age. It was Jake Butcher who became the first governor of Earth. Jake, multi-skilled, looking after mining, factory, giving various bonuses that are going to be very, very handy in the coming months. Cameron Baker, a survivor from the old military, and one of the first to realise the need for expansion, became the first admiral of the fleet. It was Sophie Barber who proposed that maybe there's some elements that exist outside the laws of Newtonian physics as we know them. Jake, realizing the potential that this would give the Preservation Council to spread humanity to the stars, immediately assigned 20 labs to Sophie and asked her to research this eventuality. Find out for sure, do these elements exist, and if they do, find out ways that we can harness them. In the first few days of the emergence of the new order, a new military academy was instructed to be built, and this military academy will supply more trained graduates to feed the needs of the growing empire. And so, that's how the story began. With training, with a consolidation of the position. The Preservation Council managed to preserve quite a large amount of conventional industry that was a hangover from before the war, Not particularly specialised, but a good at a little bit of everything. This industry, they had 1,500 units, 1,500 units. This is along with 2 research labs, 20 research labs rather. This industry produced 2,500 litres of fuel pretty quickly using thorium, a new fuel source, more energy dense than oil ever was or ever could be, more efficient as well. And on the 1st of March in the 2nd year, Sophie discovered what the trans-Newtonian elements meant. Despite a complete lack of researchers specialising in the areas of power and propulsion, construction and production, the council was determined to research the appropriate water reactor to begin to take advantage of these new trans-Newtonian elements. On the 1st of May, the military academy was completed. The new level 2 academy would create 10 officer graduates per year. So with the trans-Newtonian research being complete, the council ordered the conventional industry to be converted over to specialised trans-Newtonian industry, and they would convert 2/3 of it into construction factories and the remainder into mines. A commercial shipyard complex was also placed on the list of items to be built in the near future, along with a small amount of fuel refineries. With the conversion from conventional industry over to construction factories, trans-Newtonian construction factories, the fuel production would stop completely. So with that queued up to begin, it would take quite a while to convert the existing industry over to the trans-Newtonian specialised industry. In fact, June of the 13th year for the mines and July of the 24th year for construction factories. However, the council was not worried, because as these items transfer over, the construction rate will increase to match. The Burke and Norton shipyard was a shipyard that was managed to be salvaged out of the ruins of one of the pre-war nations. The only shipyard available to the council. They were ordered to add 5,000 tonnes to their slipway capacity, ready for the first ships. As a priority, Sophie Burke proposed that they look to explore the local system, find more trans-Newtonian resources to begin their expansion and drive that expansion out into the stars. Sophie completed the research on On the 1st of August in the second year, so with that research done, more options were opened up. The thermal nuclear engine technology would be the first engine that would take full advantage of the trans-Newtonian elements and drive ships at speeds far beyond anything that had previously been possible. Further, in line with the plan to create a ship to go and survey the local in-system, geological survey sensors were assigned to Rees-Lucas. The idea is these sensors can survey a planet from orbit and detect trans-Newtonian elements even below the surface of the planet at which it is orbiting. Sophia Coles is a young and upcoming scientist with a specialisation in energy weapons. A favourite of the council, indeed one of the daughters of one of the council members, Sophia was assigned a large amount of labs to begin research into lasers, the reasoning behind which was shadowed. No explanation was given to the council as to why this research was beginning, when other pressing concerns could potentially use the resources. However, the research began, and Sophia, she began the research into the focal size. Quite quickly, Sophia showed her aptitude for research, knocking out the 10 centimeter focal size and moving on to the infrared laser. Further technologies were assigned to Sophia as well, so that she could continue her research down the energy weapons branch. On the 1st of July, Year 3, Rees-Lucas completed the geological survey sensors, now available to be built as part of ship designs. The sensors will give scouting craft an extra boost, allow them to find the resources that are going to be required by the council to grow the human race and expand into the galaxy at large. Following his excellent contact on the research of the survey sensors, the council asked Rees to look into duranium armor, an improved armor based upon trans-Newtonian elements, hopefully lightening the weight of ships while improving their durability. On the 1st of August, Year 3, Sophia Coles completed the research into turret tracking speed. Sophia was then asked to move on to 12 centimeter laser focal size, improving the caliber of lasers that were available and also improving the damage that they could potentially dish out. On the 1st of January, Year 4, Rees-Lucas completed the research into the duranium armor. On the same day, a new scientist joined joined humanity fresh out of the university. Isabel Cooper showed an uncanny knack for sensors and fire control, understanding how these things worked, despite relatively small amounts of experience. And very quickly, on the 1st of May, year 4, no more than 5 months after joining the research efforts, Isabel had success, creating a fire control that would look after a beam weapon up to 10,000 kilometers. On the 1st of July, year 4, Sophia Coles completed the research into the 12 centimeter focal laser. Sophia was then assigned research into the visible light laser, a higher wavelength, packing more damage and potentially more range as well. The 1st of September, year 4, Isabel completed the research into active grav sensors. The council asked Isabel to continue her research into whatever field she wished. She decided to continue researching active sensors and passive sensors that would help detect craft at long range. Following a review of the situation of resources on Earth, it was discovered that the majority of resources would last a decent amount of time, annual production being high, based upon decent accessibility. The mines on Earth were turning out 3,025 tons of each material. The shortest lived material would be titanium, lasting only potentially another 18 or so years before it was completely exhausted. So it was very apparent that other supplies, other sources of these trans-Newtonian elements would be highly important. On the 1st of December, year 4, Sophie Barber completed the research into the thermal nuclear engine technology. With that engine technology meant that the first scout ships could finally be designed. And indeed, it was two civilians who put their hand up to contract to build this nuclear thermal engine. Henceforth known as the Oliver Hooper nuclear thermal engine tech. This engine would weigh 2,500 tons by itself, but it would potentially power craft at phenomenal speed through the cosmos. Being so close to the engine technology required to build the first scout ship, the council asked Sophie to take over 10 labs and get the job done as quickly as possible, taking just over a month. Just under 2 months, rather. Sophie had the research completed.